You start your journey with a burst of adrenaline. You lace up your boots, stare at the dusty trail stretching out toward the horizon, and take that first confident step. The sun is shining, the path is clear, and the destination, a legendary cathedral 500 miles away, feels inevitable. You are prepared. But what if you were biologically programmed to fail long before you ever get there? This is the Camino de Santiago, an ancient pilgrimage route traversing northern Spain. For over 1,000 years, millions have walked this path, carrying nothing but a backpack and their own thoughts. It takes about 40 days to complete, and those 40 days perfectly expose a fatal flaw hidden deep inside the human mind. A flaw that doesn't just ruin long walks, but is the exact reason why you struggle to survive long-term investing. To understand why you fail, you have to look at how your brain processes time and reward. In the first few days of the trek, your brain is flooded with dopamine. Dopamine isn't just the pleasure chemical. As neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman explains, it is the molecule of motivation and pursuit. Every step feels meaningful. Every hill conquered feels like a victory. You check your progress on a map, much like you check a soaring stock chart, and you feel brilliant. You are making gains. But by day 14, the landscape changes. The initial excitement is gone, replaced by the meseta, a vast, flat, seemingly endless high plateau. There are no striking mountains, there are no sudden victories. There is just heat, dust, and a horizon that never seems to get any closer. This is the psychological equivalent of a flat sideways market, or a prolonged drawdown in your portfolio. And this is exactly where your biology turns against you. Your brain, shaped by millions of years of evolution, is designed for acute stress, not chronic endurance. In the ancestral environment, if you encountered a threat, a predator, a storm, you reacted immediately. You fought or you ran. Your sympathetic nervous system spiked your adrenaline, you took action, and the threat was resolved. But on the meseta, the threat isn't a lion. The threat is sheer, crushing boredom and physical discomfort that simply won't end. There is nothing to fight. There is nowhere to run. You just have to keep walking. This is where the concept of temporal discounting kicks in. Behavioral economists use this term to describe our tendency to value immediate rewards much higher than future ones. On day 1 of the Camino, the reward of finishing in 40 days feels worth the effort. By day 14, when every muscle aches and the scenery is utterly monotonous, your brain starts doing a brutal calculation. It tells you that the immediate reward of quitting, the comfort of a soft bed, a cold drink, an end to the pain, is far more valuable than the distant abstract goal of reaching Santiago. It is the exact same calculation your brain makes when you hold a losing trade. You bought a stock believing in its long-term potential. But when the market drops and stays down week after week, the psychological pain sets in. You are in the meseta of your investment. The immediate relief of hitting sell, of simply making the red number stop, overwhelms your long-term thesis. You are biologically hardwired to end the discomfort now, even if it destroys your future wealth. Dr. Daniel Kahneman, the Nobel laureate who pioneered behavioral economics, identified a cognitive bias called loss aversion. He proved that the psychological pain of losing is mathematically twice as intense as the joy of winning. On the trail, a blister doesn't just feel like a minor inconvenience, it becomes the singular focus of your entire reality. In the market, a 10% drop hurts twice as much as a 10% gain feels good. Your brain amplifies the pain, screaming at you to take action, to intervene, to do something. But the most profitable action in investing, just like the only way to cross the meseta, is usually to do absolutely nothing. This is the hardest discipline to master. The successful pilgrims, the ones who actually reach the cathedral, don't do it by sprinting. They don't do it by constantly checking the map every 5 minutes to see if they've moved an inch. They do it by accepting the physical reality of the present moment without needing it to change. They detach their emotional state from the immediate terrain. In trading, this is what legendary trading psychologist Dr. Brett Steenbarger calls building an internal observer. It is the ability to step back and watch your own mind panic without actually panicking yourself. When the market plunges, the internal observer sees the urge to sell, recognizes it as a primitive biological survival mechanism, and chooses to ignore it. You realize that the urge to quit is not a signal that the journey is wrong. It is simply a biological misfire. If you can endure the meseta of the market, the landscape eventually shifts again. The flat plains give way to the green mountains of Galicia. The sideways chop turns into a sustained trend. The long-term thesis finally plays out. But you only get to see it if you survive the boredom and the blisters. You start your journey with a burst of adrenaline, but you finish it not with excitement, but with the quiet, relentless power of endurance. Because the true test was never the distance to the cathedral, or the ultimate price of the stock. The true test was whether you could conquer the urge to run when your brain screamed at you to quit.